Hello and welcome. Jackie here from Gut Health Jack. Today we are talking about the 5 principles of success. It's like a recipe that we use to make sure that we achieve the goals that we're after. So, number 1 is always know your outcome. Specificity is like a GPS for the mind. We need to know where we are going so we can get there. It's like if you want to climb a mountain, you kind of need to know where you're going to create the trail and create the map and create the path. Same thing if you're going to dinner at someone's house or you're going to an event, you need to have the address. So clarity is power here. We want to get really specific. And so you can ask yourself, and take a minute to do this now, what specifically do you want to create? What specifically do you want to manifest? What specifically do you want to accomplish? And within that, imagine what it'll look like, what it'll feel like. How will you know when you have accomplished that goal? We want to set a really well-formed outcome that is sensory-based and that it's also within your control. So we want to be really specific. Number 2 is we need to take the action, right? Ideas and, concepts are nothing without the follow through, right? So if we want to go to a vacation in Fiji, we have to book the ticket. We have to do the steps to take us there. We need to drive to the airport, We need to take the action. And even the tiny small steps, they count too, right? We need to, make sure the dog is looked after if we're going on a vacation. We need to make sure all the little things are taken care of along the way, right? So the action bridges our mindset into real world results. And when we have the outcome really specific, it makes it much easier to break down the steps of how we need to get there. Number 3 is sensory acuity. So sensory acuity is basically noticing and having an awareness of the feedback and the subtle shifts as you're moving towards this goal. We need to be able to adjust in real time and ask, is what I'm doing working? Right? We need to be able to take note of what is happening internally, externally. It's basically just becoming very aware and calming down and pausing and having this sensory acuity, right? We're reading through our senses because that's how we perceive the world. What is our internal representation of this? What is the external result? So it's basically like, okay, vibe check. Is this working? Do I need to shift? It's just awareness. Number 3 is behavioral flexibility. So this is being open to doing things different, right? If something's not working, we have to change it, right? We got to do something else. We have to be open to changing the strategy. So being flexible in our behavior allows us to adapt and change to move towards our goal. And it's stated and it's said in all these sort of NLP and in successful groups that the most flexible person in the room has the most influence, right? Our ability to adapt and change gives us a lot of power, positive power. Number 5 is operating from a state of excellence. So what this means is we are showing up 100% for ourselves, not for the external, right? And your state will just determine your outcome. Your state will determine your current action, right? So when we are showing up in a state of excellence, that is showing up for what's important for you. So in the moment, if you need to rest, that means taking the rest. If in the moment you're feeling really good and you want to go for it, you go for it. So it's really it's basically turning away from external validation and moving towards what do I need in the moment. That is moving from excellence. And I actually put in a little thing here about excellence. This is for you, right? This is where we are striving for that personal excellence over external approval. We are giving it 100% all the time, but that is for you. You're giving yourself 100% all the time. right? We are doing the best we can with the resources that we have. And we're choosing excellence over complacency or mediocrity. How can I make this better? How could I do this better? Okay, I didn't get that result. Okay, how can I shift? So you can start to see how these all work together. And so we're bringing our true self here now so that we can move and operate from this state of excellence. And that allows us to have honest reflection, which leads to genuine growth. And I did put one thing else in here that I wanted to share with you guys because it's really powerful to, so the very first one was know your desired outcome, right? Know the specificity of your outcome. And so many people will be like, I'm happy. And that's a state. So a state is like, I'm happy, I'm inspired, I'm confident. There's nothing wrong with that stuff, but that's not what we're talking about when we're talking specifically about know your outcome. We're talking about clear, specific goals that have time involved. And you will know something will happen when you know the thing. So you've got a certain amount of money in the bank. You've got daily poops. Your skin is clear. It's basically giving yourself a goalpost to be like, oh my gosh, I did that thing. So you can write, okay, it's December 2025 and I now have clear skin. I now have daily poops. I now have X amount of money in the bank. I now am owning my own house. Those are very clear, specific, measurable, and they're stated for the self only. So we want to move away from creating goals around states. Not that states are bad, but states they don't give the mind a lot of direction. So I hope that makes sense and helps you when you are tuning into your new goals. So as a little review, you know your outcome. You take the action towards that. You have sensory acuity and awareness of what's happening in the moment. You're using your senses to perceive and adjust your internal representation of the world. How are you making sense of the world? We have behavioral flexibility, so we got to be able to adapt and change. And then we are operating from a state of excellence. We are showing up the best we can for ourselves. So that is a recipe for success. So really take a goal that you have and put it through this filter and see what you come up with, right? What are your actions? What's your specific outcome? What is your awareness around this? How can you maybe shift to make this change a little bit to really move towards that goal? And how can you move through this whole process operating from a state of excellence? Okay, I hope that helps, and I'll see you in the next video.